been feeling very introspective, I guess. Do you ever think about, like, why things are the way they are, and that you just kind of accept them at face value, and then what if they're not actually that? And then, like 1,000 years down the line, some people are gonna look back at us and be like, wow, look at these fucking idiots. They thought that E equals MC squared. Actually, it's E equals by2 4 times 7 to the power of 10. Or something, I don't know. Do you ever think about stuff like that? All the time? Like, I know we call it a chest of drawers, because it's a chest of drawers, but, like, why did the word drawer get used for that meaning, right? Like I'm sure there's an etymology that you could follow somewhere, but what's going on? Because you draw it out, you pull it out. Why isn't it called a chest of pulls when you draw a bow? But that's a chest, not a bow. Why does a triangle have 3 angles? I mean, it's a 3 angle, isn't it? Sometimes I just think about, like, oh, like, all of these things that I take for granted and just, like, accept as fact is like, oh, wait, like, what if it's just, like, not that at all? A triangle has 6 angles? Does it? Huh? Where are you getting the other angles from? Exterior? We're talking about a shape. You're losing brain cells? How do you think I feel? Do a physics study stream. No. I don't want to do that. E equals MC squared. Gravity is something to the power of 10. No, 9.8. Wait, what? 9? 9.8? Gravity equals 9.8 meters per second? Huh? Meters per second per second. So, isn't that just cubed? Isn't meters per second cubed? Oh no, but squared. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say meters per second squared? I don't think my brain works, guys. I said cubed. So I was going too fast. Or too slow. Is that slow? Or is that fast? No, that's slow. Did I get enough sleep? This is what I think about. Like, what if the theory of gravity is actually a theory, and then, like, some thousands of years later, some alien species comes along and then is like, by the way, it's not called gravity, it's called blob blob. And then everyone's now in the future is like, oh, blob blob, it's 9.8 meters squared. I'm not a stoner. That's just semantics. Do you not think about, like, names are inconsequential? But they're everything, though. That gives things a purpose. You have a name, ergo you have a purpose. That's the power of names. You have to worry about rent. I'm not saying it's, like, vitally important to your day-to-day, but it's just, like, do you not just daydream and think about, like, how we have given things names, but, like, those names are ephemeral and don't actually hold any weight? And that, like, or inherent meaning of them their own, right? But it gives context. It gives context for us to understand things by giving things names, but isn't it like, what if we're wrong? Why is a bowl of soup called that? Exactly. How did we decide one stone was a stone? That's true. Why is it called a stone and not a rock? Presumably because they were like, oh, this is a heavy stone. We should use this one stone as a measure of weight. And then they went, oh, okay. Well, how much does this weigh? It's 2 stone. Like, isn't that also a thing about the kilogram? Right? Is that, like, we have a concept of what 1 kilogram weighs, but that actually is dependent on, like, some sort of set thing that we use as the reference for the kilogram? Like, we have the kilogram somewhere. And it's like, this is what a kilogram is, but because of the way that physics and shit works, is that potentially something could happen to our planet and then a kilogram weighs differently. It's in France. I feel like you've spoken about this before. I think I have. Sorry, I might be repeating old old topics. We no longer measure it based on the physical object, but on the math concept because we are smart. I know, but like, what if like some person comes around and says like, by the way, like a kilogram is actually slightly more than that weight that you've got, and then everything is off. But I guess everything has been built around that information already, so it doesn't matter. Why does Clio call a beret a beanie? Because I'm wearing a beanie. There's no beret. I'm actually not wearing anything at all. Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I don't know, it's just like, it's one of those things that I think about sometimes. Maybe it's like shower thoughts, but sometimes I have shower thoughts in just like the regular day. The ocean is a soup. Sorry about my dog. The ocean is a giant cup of tea because the Americans spilled all that tea into it. So if you think about it, there's now a decent proportion of the ocean that is now tea. It's a very oversalted cup of tea. Least British statements? Yeah, I know. It's like the Americans were like, haha, look at them. We showed them. We got rid of all their tea. You fool. You made a big cup of tea. You made a really big cup of tea. Only in the Boston Harbor? Yeah, but what's the Boston Harbor connected to? Checkmate. Atheists. No one drank it. Yeah, they did. The fish. The fish drank the cup of tea. Probably. And then you ate the fish. Ergo, you had the tea. Fish. Yeah. Do they breathe it? Ah, shit. Well, yeah, then they've got tea-oxidized lungs or whatever. I don't know how fish work. When does it stop being tea and start being part of the ocean? I think they are one and the same. Is there ppm that we could agree on? Yeah, it needs to have just like 0.00000000000 infinite zeros 1 ppm of tea. And ergo, it's a cup of tea. It's just a really watered down one. Who named planet Earth Earth? Isn't it because of Gaia? Isn't it like Gaia and Terra are like spiritual names for life or planet? And then we came up with Earth. Or something. I don't know, it's just interesting to think about, like, have I partaken in the devil's lettuce? It is 11:28 a.m. No, I haven't smoked weed. I don't even know where to get weed. I'm not cool. I don't know where to get weed in Australia. I guess I could get some, like a medical prescription. I'd be like, I have severe anxiety. Can I have marijuana, please? And the Australian government will be like, we need to test you. And then I'm going to go, oh. Ask my cocaine dealer. You mean my friend? We were just at parties. Sometimes partake in a little bit of Colombian shit. I don't have like a drug dealer. I don't know, just sometimes I think, like, we just accept a lot of things because a lot of smart people over a lot of years have said things are like this because they are that. And I think for the most part, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You're the smart person who figured that out, right? But sometimes I just think, oh, but like, what happens in the future when, like, what if they were wrong and then someone down the line is like, by the way, they were wrong. It's actually, like, blobberdob instead of flobberdob. And then we look like fools for the rest of humanity's existence because we got it wrong the entire time. These idiots, didn't they know that blobberdob is not real? It's actually flobberdob that's real? I know, sometimes I think about that. But that's maybe because I'm a historian and so I constantly have to encounter people being dismissive of the past. And I'm like, yeah, but people are probably going to be dismissive of us in the future, right? Does that not keep you up at night sometimes? I guess it doesn't matter because you'll be dead. Because it'll be like hundreds of years in the future. But like, sometimes I'm just like, the way that we are dismissive sometimes of the past is how people are going to treat us in the future. And it's like, that kind of sucks. I'd like to think people will think of us as better than maybe we actually are, but who cares about those stupid future idiots? That's what I'm saying as a historian. Who cares about the future? The existential dread of time. Yeah. But then also the past is still unknown. Right? Is that, like, we are passing judgment on the past. But then we don't actually know everything about the past. But, like, we live in a time where basically everything that we're doing is documented all the time. So, like, how fucked are we if everything we do is documented, so they're going to know everything we did? We're fucked. They're gonna know how stupid we are. They're gonna know how stupid we are. And we don't get to say the same thing about the past, because we don't have the full picture. Servers have costs, and they can't save everything after a few decades. But that, I think, even makes it worse now, because I'm like, oh man, you mean this funny picture of, like, a dog wearing a sombrero isn't going to be preserved forever? You mean my NFTs aren't going to last forever, guys? All my apes are going to go away? My memes, my rare Pepes, my rare Clios, they're not going to last. One day Discord's going to die and all the servers are going to go with it, and then all the rare Clios will be gone forever. No! It's not fair, because we documented everything to make us look as stupid as possible, and then at the same time, we can't say the same about the past, because not everything was documented. It's a double standard. It's an unfair double standard that I wish we could change. And ergo, I'm inventing a time machine so I can go back and investigate the past. Me and my time machine and my screwdriver that goes beep 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 when I point it at things, and then it does the thing works. Also, I'm a Gallifreyan, or whatever the fuck that means. Best series ever. You do not want to hear my thoughts about Doctor Who. Thank you, AJS. Thank you for the super chats. What is worse, watching your parents going at it, or your child? Ooh. I don't know. I think I walked in on my parents having sex once, when I was much younger. I think I did. I think I was like 4 years old. And I was like, Mum, Dad, look, I got dressed by myself for the first time. Or something. I don't know how old I was. And then I don't know.